places I named, and then I'll open it up to the public. Okay, any questions so far?
No.
No? Teresa, you have the floor.
Thank you. My name's Teresa Parsons. I'm the Public Works Utility Manager. The purpose of this hearing today is to take testimony and to present to the board proposed amendments to Thurston County Code Section 15.12 concerning water and sewer utility rates and charges for Grand Mound, Boston Harbor, Tamashan, and Beverly Beach, and Olympic View utilities, and some other minor changes to the notes on Table 15.12.010 and a correction to the title. Thurston County Code Section 15.12 provides for annual adjustments to the rates, charges, and fees for the county's water and sewer utilities. Due to increases in direct and indirect costs and required capital improvements, it is necessary to increase rates for water and sewer customers. Last year, staff came before the board with a proposal to increase rates and fees for both 2017 and 2018 budget years, and some other minor changes that were adopted. However, due to an administrative oversight, the ordinance adopted in December 2016 reflected only the 2017 increase. This proposal is to implement the previously proposed 2018 rate and fee increase, as well as amend notes 9 and 11 in Table 15.12.010. The proposed changes are to increase sewer and water rates for Grand Mound and Tamashan by 5%, increase sewer rates for Beverly Beach and Olympic View by 5%, increase sewer and water rates for Boston Harbor by 10%, increase the connection charges in Table 15.12.010 for Grand Mound in accordance with Section 15.12.080, delete Note 9 from Table 15.12.010. It is no longer applicable. Delete a portion of Note 11 from Table 15.12.010. It too is no longer applicable. And update the date in the title of Table 15.12.010 to show rates and charges are for 2018. In customer utility, the public outreach that we did to let the public know what we were proposing, or the customers in particular, is in the customer utility bills mailed in August, a flyer was included notifying each community of a public meeting to discuss proposed code amendments, including rate and fee increases. The public meetings were held in September in each community: Tamashan on September 12th, Boston Harbor on September 13th, Grand Mound on September 19th, and Olympic View on September 20th. Although there was a little bit of a glitch in the venue for the Boston Harbor meeting at the fire district. They were striping and closed off the front driveway, and so it was confusing that you had to go around back. So it was not well attended, and I hope that nobody here was unable to attend if they tried to. We'd had no way of knowing who tried to attend and who didn't. A couple of people did make it. Postcards notifying all customers of the public hearing were mailed on September 20th, 2017. The postcards also provided a link to the utilities website to receive comments from individuals unable to attend the public hearing. Notice of the public hearing was published in the Olympian on September 12th and September 19th. All of the information regarding the proposed code amendments was posted on the Public Works Utility website, including a place to receive comments. One comment was received in opposition to a rate increase. The commenter did not indicate which community they were in, nor leave a name or contact information. In addition, for those systems that have utility advisory committees, the proposed changes were discussed at the most recent meetings. Are there any questions about any of that?
Any questions? No? Any comments or questions?
About that alone?
Yeah, just information or anything. I suppose.
I just wanted, I'd like to reiterate, Teresa, that what we're looking at potentially is just water sewer service for all county utilities, bringing those rates and fees and charges in line with our current costs.
Yes, although,
Go ahead.
sorry, Mr. Stromsdorfer, I'm sorry if I butchered your name, is probably going to ask some questions about that.
Okay.
So what I wanted to do was hopefully answer a little bit of his questions, and maybe we'll have to have some more discussion. But what we've done is worked with the accounting staff on what our budget is and looked at the 10-year spending plan that goes back a couple of years and forward. 5, Karen? 5 years. And based upon the capital projects, the anticipated cost of just running the utilities, personnel costs, all of those types of things associated with running the utilities, we came up with this proposal, and it actually was incorporated. These changes were intended to be in the 2018 budget as well, so they are proposed for the 2018 budget and will fund certain projects. Another one project in Boston Harbor in particular that another community member is here to probably speak about is water quality in Boston Harbor. And right now there's a sand filter there. It's called a green sand filter. It's inadequate to filter effectively all of the water that Boston Harbor uses in the summer. And so that's one of the capital projects that we are working on right now. And we've just finished a pilot study to find out what kind of medium would work better than the existing green sand. And so the next step then is to put the bid documents together and get it built. So by the first part of summer next year, for sure, it should be in place. And that's when water use will go down and the green sand filter can keep up with that a little bit better. And by the time water use picks up again, that should be in place.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Edwards has a question.
When will this take effect? Should we go ahead and move on this?
January 1st, 2018.
Okay. Anything else?
No.
All right. Any other comments?
Yes. So the one comment that we received online, and then County Manager Chavez just gave me a letter from Norma Latin, residing at 2336 Killarney Court Northwest, Olympia, Washington, which is in the Tamashan water system, sent a letter to you saying, Commissioners, I object to an increase of fees for services provided by Thurston County Utilities Water and Sewer. We are being gauged for our water and sewer service, and to recently learn that our drinking water is below minimum standard and contaminated for over a year. What is the justification for the increase? We had an increase of these charges in January of this year. Attached are copies of my most recent bill and their letter dated July 13th, 2017. And I can give that to you. Should I read the whole thing or?
That's for the record. That's fine.
Okay. Just to let you know what the reference is to the violation, all of our water systems disinfect the water that goes out into the system with chlorine. Chlorine reacts, it's one of the most effective and cheapest and easily implemented disinfection methods, and it's used across the United States to disinfect drinking water. However, certain components in certain water sources can react with chlorine and cause what are called disinfection byproducts. There's a minimum contaminant level that is established by the Department of Health, and we had exceeded that in Boston Harbor and in Tamashan within the last year. And so what we've done is some very aggressive operational changes. We've cleaned all of the reservoirs. We've added aeration systems and some recirculation systems to all of the both those reservoirs, and all of the numbers are now and have been for the last 6-9 months well below that level. So we have to continue for a year notifying the community that those minimum levels were exceeded, but after a year, then with no violations, then it falls off.
Is that the standard set for that, the contaminant or the byproduct, is that set by the State Department of Health or County Department of Health?
The state, I suspect it comes from the Clean Water Act, but I'm not, it's the implementation of the federal Clean Water Act.
Thank you, Teresa.
And that regulatory oversight is the same if you're a private purveyor of
Yes.
water as
Yes.
in a government entity, okay?
Sure. Okay. Anything else, Teresa? No? Okay, great. Why don't we call it the public?
I also, if the board wishes to see a spreadsheet of what in an easier to read fashion than the ordinance strike-throughs, I have a
Need a copy?
spreadsheet if you want that.
I think I've got some of that. I have one more question.
yeah.
Does public utilities regulate some of the rates and charges that go along with this activity?
The Washington Utilities and Transportation Commission, no, not for municipalities, they don't.
But they do for private purveyors?
I'm not sure on that I don't know if anybody knows. I'm not sure on that for private. I don't think so.
Okay,
Those are more for the telecommunications and power.
okay.
All righty. Thank you so much, Teresa. Okay, with that in mind, I have the sign-in sheet for addressing the rates and utility rates for the sewer and water for the said mentioned areas. And I have Jackie Ashley is the first person, yeah. How you doing, ma'am?
Great, thank you.
Great.
Hi there.
Hi.
I'm Jackie Ashley, and I live at 7440 Byron Street Northeast in Olympia, in the Boston Harbor area. And we just closed on that house in the middle of September, and we were really surprised to find the water quality so poor out there at Boston Harbor. It tastes terrible. We haven't showered in it yet because we haven't fully moved over there, but it was a real surprise. So when I received the information in the mail about this meeting, I wanted to show up and just to voice that the water quality when we live in an area as beautiful as where we live, we expect our water to be wonderful because it's the water right here in Olympia, and so it was a surprise for it to be that poor. And then the sewer rates were also a surprise that they were as high as they are. I understand that everything costs money, and that there's a need for raising the rates to cover the costs. But I also wanted to just voice, along with what Teresa said, that the quality of the water is really important. So that's what I had to say.
You bet. Thank you so much, ma'am,
Thanks.
for your words there. Okay, so the next person did not say yes or no, but I'm just going to see if Lanham Uday.
No, sir, I just thought it was a sign-in sheet.
First Andy, thought it was
Okay,
first
sure.
Andy.
I got you.
He
Not a
doesn't have
problem.
anything in this.
Okay, just wanted to double check. Is there anybody else in the audience who wishes to come forward to the podium to address the board on this particular matter? Seeing nobody, raise your hand.
You mentioned my name?
Okay, yeah. I guess my soft voice didn't carry, okay? And, sir, can you give me your first and last name and where you generally where you're from in the county?
I'm Ernie Stromsdorfer. I'm the Vice President of the Tamarsham Homeowners Association. First, I'd like to thank Teresa Parsons and her team for the fine services they've offered us over the last few years. It's been exemplary. I noticed that I am a labor economist. I used to teach at the College of Business and Economics at WSU. I've noticed that the percentage increases are very uniform, 10, 5, 2.5. I'm wondering what is the economic basis underlying these increases? Inflation, measured by the Consumer Price Index, has been less than 2% over the last couple of years, each year. The construction price, or rather the employment price index for utility workers, of course, has been around 5% a year that I've checked with the Bureau of Labor Statistics. But I'm curious about the broad outlines of what underlies these increases. I'm particularly interested in whether we're developing a capital fund for replacement of the infrastructure over time. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your words, sir. All righty. Any follow-up comments or questions for the staff or what you've heard?
We're not going to vote on this tonight, are we?
We're just probably going to close it unless you want an actual vote on it. We
Right.
don't have to.
No,
actual action.
but I'm going to need some more information, and
Okay, sure.
might I be able to get that from the county manager or from Teresa afterwards?
Well, I think what we'll probably do is just close and then we'll go back and do some more analysis at a later date.
Okay,
Is that
that's
right?
what I'm, yeah.
Is that,
That's fine with me, yep.
is that the pleasure of your?
That's my pleasure.
Okay, let's just, if there's no further questions, why don't we, is there a motion to close the public hearing?
I move to close this public hearing.
Second?
It's been moved and second to close the public hearing. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, and that motion carries. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the second public hearing. And let me get my paperwork straight here. And this public hearing is a resolution adopting the 2018-2023 Capital Facilities Plan Amendment to Thurston County Comprehensive Plan. And I have with us here Christina Chapeau. She's going to give some background as the staff, and then we'll listen to the public.
Thank
Go
you.
ahead,
Good
Christina.
evening. I am Christina Chapeau. I'm an associate planner with Resource Stewardship Department. Today I'm here to give you some background about the Capital Facilities Plan. Briefly, the board has been briefed on the Capital Facilities Plan back in July of 2017. The Planning Commission has also heard and conducted a work session on the Capital Facilities Plan that was held on August 16th of 2017. There was a public notice for the CFP hearing tonight, and that was issued September 11th of this year. We also did a press release on September 20th for the Capital Facilities Plan. The CFP has been on the county website for anybody and everybody to see, review, and I have not received any comments to date regarding the CFP. So what is the CFP? The Capital Facilities Plan is a financial planning document. It identifies potentially new, revised, and expanded capital facilities plans that may be provided in the upcoming 6 years and how to finance them. There are a separate informational document called the supplement that fully describes each of those capital facilities plans. The CFP and the supplement, as I have said, are both on the county's website. The capital facilities plan is not a budget, nor is it an obligation to the board or of the board for future actions. However, for any future capital facilities projects to be completed, if the board so chooses to approve them, it does need to be in the capital facilities plan. So why have a capital facilities plan? Well, it is required under the Growth Management Act, RCW 3670A. It ensures that public facilities and services are in place when development is ready for occupancy and use without decreasing the established minimum service level standards. The 6-year plan also includes level of service standards that provide facilities needed to keep pace with our growing populations. The plan includes major maintenance and repair work on facilities, as well as facilities needed to improve safety or preservation improvements. It ensures that land use and the CFP financing plan are coordinated and are consistent, and the CFP also needs to be consistent with our upcoming year's budget. So there is some specific content within the capital facilities plan. This is required under the Growth Management Act. Inventory of the existing facilities with location and capacities, forecast of future needs, new and expanded facilities with those locations and capacities, and at least a 6-year plan for anticipated financing. And that financing is financing that's within the projected funding capacity of the county's finances, and it also identifies the potential sources for the public funding. This year's financial impacts, the total capital facilities cost projections for the next 6 years is a little over $333 million, which is actually $8.7 million less from last year's capital facilities plan. And that does conclude my report. If there's any questions,
Comments or questions?
No.
No?
Oh, no, I do.
Uh-huh.
I just want to emphasize that you have not received any voicemails, emails, texts, tweets, Snapchats, anything.
anything I haven't
U.S.
received?
Postal, nothing.
Nothing. I have received
Pigeon?
no comments in
Pigeon?
any form.
Okay, thank
Yes.
you, Chris.
All right. With that in mind, I'll ask if there's anybody in the public who would like to come to the podium to address the board. Seeing no one, all right. So, any final comments or questions?
No, sir.
No? Is there a motion to close the public hearing?
Mr. Chair, I move to close this public hearing.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded to close the public hearing. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and that motion carries. Okay. So we have the third public hearing, which is the adoption of the 6-year transportation improvement for the calendar year of 2018 to 2023. So the background on it is the pursuant to state law, the Washington Administrative Code and the county is required to adopt a 6-year transportation improvement plan and an annual road program each year. The proposed programs include various roadway construction and planning projects, including but not limited to bridge replacements, bicycle and pedestrian facilities, and roadway upgrades. And the staff person we have here tonight is Scott. How you doing, Scott?
Very good, thank you.
Scott Davis, and he's going to give us a little bit of background.
All right, thank you, Commissioners. I'm just going to read through a few of the legal requirements first and then talk a little bit about the program. So, pursuant to RCW 3681-121, 3681-122, and 130, and RCW 3654, and RCW 3640, and Washington Administrative Code 136, 14, 15, and 16, as mentioned by Commissioner Blake, the board is required to adopt a 6-year transportation improvement program annually. We presented this program to the county commissioners on the 16th of August. We also posted on our Public Works website. There was also a public notification, and we made it available to the Chamber of Commerce and other community groups. During this time for public comment, I have not received an email, I guess a Snapchat either, or regular snail mail or anything else. I haven't got any phone calls either regarding the transportation improvement program. Like the capital facilities plan, it's similar in nature, but just is governed by different state law. It's a planning document to identify transportation improvements that we expect to fund over the next 6 years. It's not necessarily in a list of all the needs because it's financially constrained. So it's what we expect to be able to carry out over the next 6 years based on the different funding sources, including the county road fund, the county impact fee program, and grants and other sources of revenue. Just a few things about the program that was available to the public. It actually included a lot more than actually what we're having the public hearing about today. As 5 chapters, the first chapter just kind of talks about the legal requirements, the basis for having a 6-year transportation improvement program. Obviously, the program itself, so all the list of the projects, the project details, where we expect the funding to come from. Also, just the expected revenue and planned expenditures over the 6-year period. In addition to that, it also includes the bridge index, which is a summary of our inspections for the year and our planned improvements for all the bridges in Thurston County. The TIP itself includes 35 individual projects. As mentioned by Commissioner Blake, the projects range from traffic safety, road upgrades, to bridges, culverts, studies, a variety of things. There's also 10 programs. The 10 programs on there are intended in part to capture some of the main focus areas for the department, including just, roadway preservation and safety. But sometimes if there's unexpected revenue sources such as a grant application, those kinds of things. That's where those projects would fall into in terms of how we'd program it. And to be eligible for state and federal funding, we do have to have projects on the tip. So that's one of the main components of having a list on there. The total program expenditures over 6 years is a little over $37 million. And of that, about $25 million is planned to be expended from state and federal grants. So, a lot of the big projects that we do, we're relying on other outside sources to complete them. So, the county road fund, the impact fee program are usually used to leverage other resources to actually carry out the projects. And as I mentioned, the transportation program, improvement program doesn't represent all the needs, but again, what we expect to deliver within the next 6 years. Any questions?
Nope. Nope.
Nope.
All righty. With that in mind, I'll open it up to the public and see if there's, and the person I have on this list is Mr. Ernie Stromstorfer. Would you like to come back and talk one more time?
Do you want to talk about the 6-year street program?
The what?
The 6-year street program?
No.
I just want to make sure, yeah. So I'll look out to the audience and see if there's any other person who'd like to come to the podium to address the board on the transportation improvement plan. Seeing no one, all righty, I'll close that. I'll see if there's a motion to close the public hearing.
I move to close this public hearing.
Second.
Been moved and second to close the public hearing. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and that motion carries. And what is the pleasure of the board?
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the resolution adopting the 6-year transportation improvement program for the calendar years of 2018 through 2023.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded as stated. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and that motion carries also. Okay, that concludes today's series of public hearings, and thank you very much.